Je vais parler de how a few key factors in my life let me get to a much earlier retirement than I could have conceived of myself, even. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not a hard worker or anything, but today is all about that uncontrollable, well, luck factor. Yeah. Hey, Ozempic here. Another day not working for the man. Man, I read on the news that basically all hopes of remote work's disappearing from the horizon. Or was this just because, Elon emboldening the corporate hegemons further? I mean, I tell you guys so. Remote work was never going to be a thing, okay? Not so long as managers trends towards the, you know, micromanaging types. Well, okay, tangent done. Now, I hope I've properly presented myself as well. A lazy dude. I mean, I say I'm lazy because I am early retired, but I didn't get here without putting in the hard work part, right? Uh, in a way, I can be lazy now and still have had a strong work ethic. That is my self-assessment, by the way. But today I want to address the elephant in the room, right? Is hard work or smart work enough to get to such lofty goals as fire? I mean, there's got to be a reason that the vast majority of the population not only cannot get to fire, but cannot even conceive of such an idea, right? And if I'm being honest, frankly, luck is that elephant in the room. I've gotten very lucky in a few key ways that I think really made my journey a lot smoother. So I will be humbling myself today by talking about those the various ways where I did very little and somehow ended up with the proverbial pot of gold at the end. Anyway, if you're intrigued by what I might say, please subscribe, like, comment, share, and all that social media buzzwords, or whatever, because I am rich enough for me, and I will be great regardless. First, that solid home foundation via my folks. I mean, my lord, I have never appreciated my own folks as much as I did once I've met other people whose own folks are just way, way worse, at least with money, okay? The reality is that without their subtle influence, I would have had no idea where I would be on the fiscal side, right? They showed me with the actions rather than words the benefit of, let's say, keeping debt to a minimum. They showed me the ways of frugality. They valued education and a critical eye towards how one learns and processes information. But realistically, when it comes to fire, their cultural preference towards real estate is probably the number one thing that helped me on my fire journey specifically, right? If you didn't know already, in my mother culture, the Asian one, it's usually considered a faux pas to try to find a wife if a dude doesn't have any real estate. So my parents was pushing hard on me to get that housing ladder started, right? Even helped me out a bit with the down payment that first time, right? Honestly, at the time, I was just turning 30. The idea of having a 30-year mortgage was very scary. I mostly just did what I was told to get my parents off my back. But looking backwards, that was the real start of my net worth journey, I would have to say, okay? And that mortgage, I did manage to pay off in less than a decade. So it definitely wasn't a death sentence of any kind. Even though real estate is now no longer the majority of my portfolio, I think feeling like having had any net worth at all made me feel that more was possible. Okay? Second, and extremely crucial point, of course, is that I somehow stumbled into a FANG company, right? Now this one this is usually one that most people think that's total luck. I mean, I worked at 10 years at Apple, and that's pretty much enough for me to retire, given my fairly frugal lifestyle. But how did I get into this FANG company to begin with? I mean, I may be a Kanye-level genius, but I sure as heck does not have really great interview skills or even interpersonal skills, just like Ye, okay? So, I just got into this great company via luck because I was a part of a startup that got bought up by Apple. Not only that, my role was critical enough and I was good enough at that job that even through 10 years of internal shuffling, I stuck around, collected my RSUs, and that's really pretty much it, okay? Work at FANG, get stocks, get set for life, okay? Obviously, being at a company that somehow becomes a much bigger and richer company, that's the luck part. But I wouldn't say it's 100% luck, right? The 1% that I think I did contribute to is simply because I was not risk averse in my 20s, right? I did choose to join a startup that got eventually swallowed up. instead of a safer broideringer option, such as the advertising department of, let's say, a well-established publication, for example, okay? I also know that I'm more okay with risk than my peers because I generally try to jump ship every 1.5 years or so, rather than waiting until the ship actually goes down, like some people I know. I mean, my only loyalty was to individual bosses, not to companies big or small. Okay. And finally, a partner who's on the same page, same path even. My God, before I got to fire, but when I realized that it was inevitable, one big concern of mine was how I would actually find a partner. I mean, I thought if I met a girl while I was in the accumulation stage, we can be on the fire path together. But if I met one after I'm all set, I guess I'd have to be comfortable carrying her for life, right? But instead, I met my wifey right after I put my notice in, so I would consider that more or less after firing, right? But still, I think it's incredible luck that I met a lady who was already well on her own journey towards financial independence. So basically, I partner with somebody who's just as fiscally disciplined as I am. I mean, that is incredible, incredible luck, okay? Just in regular life, I see all these couples where the power imbalance is clearly there, usually in the form of a lady of the house essentially getting an allowance, and thus, well, I mean, maybe having a bit less agency. I mean, I'm not judging, okay? To each their own. But with my wife, I literally tell her every year if she would like, she can have control of our joint finances. That's the level of trust I have, because I know she'd probably do an even better job than I've been doing. There's never any real arguments about where our spending priorities are, okay? That's the number one thing married couple argue about, so I've read in the papers, okay? That's right, another problem that I've never had to deal with. Oh boy, I mean, I guess the level of effort I put in here is, daring her to ask, to be asked now to begin with. That's true. I mean, I am a bit of a chicken on that front. So, in conclusion, I mean, I feel like without either of these three things, my life would have gone very differently, right? Family foundation, forms, how we view resources, work can provide abundances like it has with me, or with just plain, or just pain, or nothing to show for it for many other workers, right? Trust me, I do empathize with regular workers. I have some clips talking about my own work history. I mean, I started out delivering furniture in the ghetto, and I do mean the literal housing projects, so yeah, I know. And of course, no one can improve or destroy a household's finances more than a partner that we choose in life. So I do try to be thankful for all my lucky privileges, right? Here's to you, Mom and Dad, Grapefruit Company of Phones, and of course, Wifey. Thank you for making all my dreams come true so far. Cheers. A la prochaine.